more so for you guys, to be honest. I don't think so, Prospect.
Good evening, Noob Gamers. How are we? It's Thursday night, of course. We're live 8 p.m. for another evening of solid racing on the track. Can't even speak. Can't even get my words out early doors. Noob Gamer Jimmy getting involved in the chat room early doors, and hopefully the viewers this evening are begging for all the action as we bring you the final race of the Noob Gamers Championship. Good evening, Sin City. Of course, let all the guys in the Discord know the channel is live. Get everyone tuned in for another fantastic evening of racing. Mr. Salt joining the chat as well. People getting involved early doors. Of course, I'm not a one-man band this evening. I always have a co-host sat here in the studio with me, and tonight it is, of course, my man again. It's Jamie. How are you, mate?
Good evening. Yeah, fantastic. How are you?
I'm okay, yeah. Everything feels probably a little bit more rushed than normal this evening.
Okay.
A few computer issues, but we're over those now. You know, we're not late, which was like we were on Sunday, of course. And we're here again, and I'm excited. So, yeah, looking forward to it. How about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. As we're speaking now, the boys have just started. They're all just starting to come out of the garage for the practice session. Looking good.
Now, the big question I've got for you, Jamie, is we've got a brand new feature tonight. We're going to start profiling some drivers, as you know. I wonder if the people that we're profiling this evening are tuned into the stream, ready to see their debut. Do we know?
Well, 2 out of the 3 are racing.
Okay.
And the third is having to sit out through an injury.
Okay.
So at least he'll be watching, I think.
Okay, so hopefully at least one of them is watching their debut, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring you some driver profiles, try and get you closer to the people that you're watching each and every week. Obviously, if you've been sticking with us from the start, you would have built up an affinity with the racers that race on a Thursday and, of course, a Sunday. But some of them are starting to, they want to get themselves on camera a bit more, talk to you guys and let them know what they're all about. And we've had a video sent in by Bob. Bob's 12 years old. He's drawn us a nice picture as well to go with the video he sent in, and we're going to show you his profile he's put together of himself, Trevor and Rolfie. So we're going to give you a little look now into the lives of them as we head over to our analysis studio, which we've morphed into our little video studio for you this evening. So here we go. So here we go. We've morphed this part of the studio into a secondary use, and we've got a little bit of a TV going with a video sent in from Bob, Trevor and Rolfie. We're going to have a little watch now as we get to know them a little bit more just before we start racing. We probably won't bring you the whole video, maybe we'll do part 2 later on. But Jamie, I'm excited. I've had a quick run through this video. There's some interesting moments, of course, and hopefully the people will enjoy it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, obviously the Humphreys and the good family friend Rolfie, they've become somewhat of celebrities in the PC2 Noob Gamers world, haven't they? Especially Bob with taking all the crowns so far.
Yep.
Potentially another one tonight in this last.
Exactly. In
the hordes of fans are keen to get used to, to see the man himself.
Yeah, so let's start having a little watch of this video as we get to know Bob and Trevor and Rolfie. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I don't know why I did the wave. Yeah, keep that in. That's staying in. Hello, everyone. We've been asked by Noob Gamers to provide you with some driver profiles with me, Bob Humphrey.
Me, Trevor Humphrey.
And me, Rolfie87. Why do we all do that?
Because you did it, I copied you all.
We're all based in Eastbourne, and we've been asked a few questions by the Noob Gamers to basically answer to you. So here we go. I've been sim racing since about the age of 7, when I started playing GP2 with my old man, and I think my uncle and cousin used to play it in the evenings every now and then. But mainly, it's down to the old git.
I've been racing for about 20 years. That's a bit before Bob, I suppose. Those days I used to be in a B-team, and it was with Grand Prix Legends.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Then we went on to NASCAR 2003, then on to GTR, and various
GTR
other evolutions of that.
How about you, Rob?
6 weeks.
Ah, long time.
So yeah.
We used to game in my old loft though, didn't we?
Yes. It's your fault that I am now racing.
My bad. Sorry, everyone.
I know my favourite car is a Ford Mustang. That's it.
Why is
My
that?
favourite track.
Why is
Because I drove one in America. That is the reason why. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
My favourite car's 350Z, and favourite track racing online would be All Park, and favourite track real life would be Spa. Although America have some great ones, like VIR. I like VIR a lot.
My favourite car is the Jaguar XJ220S. No idea why, I just bloody love it. Favourite track would be Bathurst, Mount Panorama. But things I really love.
Oh, you caught me.
Yeah, my experience.
So there we go. There's a little bit of an insight into their video so far. That's about halfway through. We'll head back to the studio now and try and bring some practice, but we will, of course, catch up with those guys a bit more later on. So there we go, Jamie. A little bit of a new feature, a little bit of an insight into the Humphreys and Rolfie. Hopefully we can bring more of this to the viewers at home so they can get to know the races.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice for the fans, isn't it, to see behind the curtains of their favourites.
Yes, exactly. So, how's practice going? We've still got a few minutes left, presumably.
Yeah, just over halfway through, so it's 4.5 minutes left. We've got about half the field of set times. A bit of a reduced field tonight, a couple of injuries and things like that, but there's still 16 drivers ready to go at it.
Perfect.
It's night time for this race, which obviously always provides a little element of added spice to the affair. At the moment, we got Odyssey sitting at number 1. So
Fair play to
could
him.
he be in with a shout tonight?
We shall see. So we'll leave the boys to carry on practicing. We will, of course, bring you all the action when qualify and race day kicks in. So before we head over to the track, we, of course, need to give you guys at home a little look about the track that our racers will be driving in this evening. So here we go. So this is, of course, the track guide this evening. We're at the Nürburgring GP Arena. It is one of the longest tracks we've featured on the stream so far, over the 3-mile mark. 16 turns in total for our drivers to navigate this evening. Lots of lefts, rights, all sorts for them to navigate, which will, of course, hopefully mean we're going to have lots of action on the track to bring you this evening in what is the final race of the Noob Gamers Championship. So here we go from the start finish line down this long home straight. Grandstands left and right before we start to approach one of the naughtiest corners on the track. You know, you're gunning, getting the blood's pumping, ready to start, but oh no, it is a sharp right hand, almost 180 bend to contend with early doors, which I'm sure is going to cause lots of problems to start with. But then we've got a nice gradual left hand bend, you know, it's long and sweeping round before it straightens out a little bit and then gets a little bit tighter again as we continue going round the left with some fantastic views of the grandstand. A little bit of right action now as we start to open out the engines for another sort of straight on this track. There's a lot of winding corners, but there's also the opportunity for the drivers to put their foot down, and here's one of them, of course, before again it's a little bit harder on the brakes into this long left hand bend, and then we're going slightly downhill, and before again we're going round a nice long right hand bend. A little bit of an opportunity to get your foot down here, pick up a little bit of pace. If you manage to do some good maneuvers out of that corner, it is a great opportunity to attack someone down this corner, before again needing to go nice and hard on the brakes into this corner, round to the right, slight uphill on this one as again we start to move back up the track. Again, you know, nice little straights in between all those corners this evening, so lots of time for people to get themselves around cars. Not a lot of brakes needed around that minor chicane there as well, which would be nice for our drivers to contend with. But here we go, this is where it starts to get a little bit tighter now as we start to build up. So, you know, luring our racers, if they haven't used the track very often, into a false sense of security. Again, nice and easy so far as we start to continue making our way up this hill. Not much brakes needed on this right hand bend here, almost flat out into that corner, but this corner is one of the most interesting ones coming up now on the circuit. Can't quite see it either, which makes things difficult, but it's really hard onto the brakes for this tight and left to right chicane as we start to make our way to the final corner now. A nice right hand bend to finish as we then go down the home straight. So that is the track our racers will be using this evening, and I'm sure it's going to give us plenty of action. So there we go, Jamie, that was a look around our track. Your thoughts on the track this evening?
Yeah, I mean, it should be great. I mean, it's a big, really big open Grand Prix circuit, which isn't the normal sort of playground for these touring cars. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle that. The lap times are just over the 2 minute mark, so it's a long lap, but obviously, as you've seen, lots of long straights for overtaking and lots of really sharp braking points. Of course, that track guide we saw there was in the day, but we got the added element of it also being nighttime as well.
Yes.
So and just as we say that, practice is just about finishing.
Perfect, almost perfect timing, you could say. But hello to Trevor, who's joined us on the track. He's sorry he's not watching this evening. Hopefully you saw your big screen debut with your profile earlier on. We'll try and bring you a little bit more of that, you know, maybe during qualifying or after the race itself. T-Max joined us this evening saying, here we go indeed. So as Jamie said, practice is starting to close down now, which gives us just enough time to bring you another look around these touring cars that our racers will be using this evening. So here is the car guide. It is, of course, the Renault Megane touring car, which is the car of choice for almost all our races this evening. Front wheel drive, top speed of 166 miles an hour. It's got some decent weight to it, as we've seen over the last few weeks. Able to make you know, some tight maneuvers and also take some punishment as well. So here we go, we're going to have a look around the vehicle itself now before you guys can see it out on this evening's track, again in the daytime, but you know, enjoy this little bit of video as you get to grips with the car the racers will be using this evening. So there we go. That was a quick look around the car this evening. I understand practice is coming to a close. So just before we do that, we're going to have another quick look at the standings before we head into this evening's race. So here we are looking at the standings so far. This is what we've got to contend with. So it's Bob Humphrey leading the way with 25 points. Mr. Salt just in behind with 20. Trevor Humphrey, of course, not racing this evening, in third place. So he might find his third place under threat from Rolfie in fourth place, just a point behind. We have Razzensdale Freddy in fifth with 11. Roy Klopson sixth with 10. With Bibby, Mad Knife, Bugglenuts and Art Boban closing out the top 10. So the driving seat is very much in favour of Bob Hump this evening, Jamie, but Mr. Salt only 5 points behind. Anything can happen.
He is, but the way that the point system works in this championship is making it hard for Mr. Salt. It's the top 10 just get a point per position. So if you're first, you get 10, second 9, third 8. So he needs to beat Bob by at least 5 places if he wins the race to make that difference. There's a few racers in that top 6 or 7 that aren't here tonight, so opportunities all over for a lot of movement in that leaderboard for the final race.
Indeed it is. So yeah, there's the standings, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, these can all be found on the noobgamers.com website, where we have all the latest news on all our races that are coming up. Jamie, who's your favourite tonight then? What are we saying?
For the championship or the race?
Both.
I think Bob, just with the way the points and the lead he's got, will do enough to keep the title. The race, I'm going to go. I'm going to go left field. I'm going to go based on the only man in the 205s in practice was VXR Thrasher, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go for him.
Okay.
Something different.
Good predictions. I understand qualifying is well underway now, so let's head over to the track and bring you all the action. So here we go, qualifying well underway now, I believe. Here we go, Jimmy H official we're on board with at the moment. Just looking a little bit on the chat while the times start coming in. Rasta 300 says good evening and good luck to all. Seb Sepik says good evening all. Trevor, of course, in the chat, who's seeing who's going to steal his third place this evening. T-Max predicting Bob's going to have a heads-gone moment and going to bin it, which would, of course, open the door for lots of races this evening. So, yeah, good to have your reaction on the chat, Jamie. But we're on board with Jimmy H official, who I know has been putting a decent amount of practice in midweek. Perhaps not high hopes for this championship, but I know he's got his sights on season 3 already.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to give him a bit of airtime because obviously he's the guy who brings all of this together, started this whole community, which has grown into something really great. And obviously he had a second baby last week, didn't he? So he missed the last race. He's back for the last round. He's done a bit of practice, baby permitting. So I just thought we'd give him a little bit of screen time, give him some love.
Yeah, why not? And 18 minutes to go of qualifying, so of course plenty of time for our racers to get to grips with this track this evening, put down some decent times. Bob's still in the pits at the moment, although he's just come out. So is VXR Thrasher, just putting those final touches to the cars. But yeah, we're on board with Jimmy H, and we're going to see who puts down the first lap times of the evening. But as you said earlier, Jamie, this track is very long. The lap times are well over the 2-minute mark, so we're going to have to wait a little bit for these first lap times to start coming in.
Yeah, and just to give people out there a bit of an idea, a 2:05, if you get into the 2:05s, that is a very good lap time. Talk of potential 2:04s, but we've not seen one yet in all the practice, so that will be interesting. We can pull that out of the bag. But I think if you're doing a 2:06, you're going to be right up in the in the sort of top 10 amongst it.
Well, there we go. We'll see who can knock on the door early to try and claim first place here this evening. We will, of course, bring you every second of the action that is important to the races this evening, as we always try and do. We have 16 drivers, do we, Jamie? Is that correct?
Yep, 16 drivers, absolutely, yeah, ready to go.
16 drivers around this track this evening, so it's a little bit of a longer track, but as we obviously we haven't seen any practice so far, but earlier on in the week we saw people practicing. The guys have had a little practice this evening, and there's lots of good races here this evening, putting down some decent times, so I imagine there's going to be some hot competition up and down the track.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really competitive. the normal sort of the top guys don't seem to be quite as far ahead as they normally are in overall lap time. So I think the pack's a bit more condensed, which should give us some great battles out front.
Yeah, I mean, the last few weeks on this stream on Thursday and a Sunday, we've seen some amazing racing. I mean, Sunday's race, it was only a one-off special, no points up for grabs, but we had a fantastic race all up and down the track. Last Thursday's race, of course, we had the snow coming in, really causing issues for the drivers this evening. So, the quality of the racing on show on the Noob Gamers Twitch stream the last few weeks has been very, very high, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've seen some unbelievable sort of 3-4-way battles going on for laps after laps, and great clean driving from everyone, really. We haven't had any sort of sour incidents at all, have we? So hopefully more of the same.
Hopefully more of the same indeed. We're on board with Mad Knife as we jump to Boggernuts. Boggernuts, who of course did, we've seen his times during the week, and in practice he's been really hot as well. So he's certainly a contender this evening, Jamie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's one of the guys up there in the low 206 in practice. So he'll be looking to get, as we see Rob 3 post the first time, pretty good 206.3. That's going to be, there or thereabouts. Oh, as I say that, Mr. Salt with a 206.1 pips him. Like I said,
and then Roy Klotz comes in. Do you want to just give it a few minutes and see?
Should we just not bother? And there's Boggernuts here. They're all coming in. I'm going to let you take over as they all come in. You can see how many people are coming down the start-finish straight here.
Yeah, so we're going to really start getting to grips with this leaderboard as cars start making their way down this home straight. We've already got 7 times posted, 8 times posted, and I'm sure that's going to go on and on for the next few minutes. But at the moment, say it quietly, but Odyssey leads the way with a 2:05.6, which is unbelievable from him. Roy Klotz just behind with Boggernuts in 3rd, Mr. Salt currently in 4th, and that's 9 races posted a time so far. We're on board with Bob Hunt now. He's some way away from the start-finish line, so he won't see a time posted by him just yet. But Jamie, the races are starting to put down some times, and we've got 3 races in 2:05's early doors, which is really impressive stuff.
Yeah, and we've been shouting out Odyssey a lot in the last few weeks, but he really has been putting some serious time into this, and he's getting quicker and quicker every race. I think he was saying earlier tonight his best lap in practice so far this week was a 2:06.1, so he's going to be thrilled with that 2:05.6. That's going to be hard to beat. I mean, Bob's one man who might do it, obviously, but I almost, when you asked me who I thought was going to win, I almost went for Odyssey, and I'm sort of thinking now, he's got a good chance. Got a really good chance. He just needs a clean race, because we've seen him be up there at the start, haven't we? But the luck hasn't gone his way, and he's ended up not finishing as high as he probably deserves.
Exactly
right. Here comes Bob.
Here comes Bob over the line. What time is he going to produce for us this evening? It is going to be a... Hold your breath. Oh, is there a time there at all? Must have been invalidated. Trevor Hump on the chat says Odyssey was quick in practice. And apparently, obviously we don't race as much as these guys in the cars do, but Trevor's saying it's a tough track to master, this one. So, if you haven't put the hours in, we've just spoken about Odyssey, he's put the hours in as we've spoken about. He's going to have a good advantage over perhaps those racers who haven't been able to put the work in this week.
Yeah, and as we see, he's just been pipped. And, well, I was about to say he's just been pipped by Mr. Salt, but there's Boggernuts with a 2:05.2. Unbelievable time from him. What a really tight pack we're going to have here. This is going to be a great qualifying session. Stay tuned.
Exactly. Stay tuned for all the action. Under 13 minutes left now. We've got Boggernuts, Mr. Salt, Odyssey and Roy Klotz all in the 2:05 club. Rob just outside with Sin and Mad Knife posting 2:06s. I mean, Mad Knife, we haven't spoken a lot about him during any of the streams recently. He hasn't managed to challenge, the real top end of the packs. But, with a 2:06, he puts himself in a really good position to attack the top of the grid this evening.
Yeah, I think he'll be looking for that top 10 position. And hoping to solidify that as 6th or 7th, I think he'd be happy with. I'm stunned by that lap from Boggernuts. That's come out of nowhere. But Roy Klotz as well. We've seen him win races on stream before. He's still up there. And there's VXR Thrasher just in behind Boggernuts. Yeah. 2:05.3. This is looking fantastic.
Really good stuff. VXR Thrasher, of course, is your pick for the race here this evening. So I'm gonna hold you to that for the entirety of the stream. So if he doesn't win. You've made some issues, but Jimmy H already having problems with bits of his car falling off early doors. He's yet to post a time, along with Bob, funnily enough, of all the people not to post a time. 14 cars. In 14th place at the moment is our boy Kino. I'm assuming, by looking at the
Oh,
three-letter
there's
name.
Bob.
There he is. And there's Bob with a time 2:04. He's not messing around this evening, is he? He's just luring us all into a false sense of security.
He likes to do that to us, doesn't he? He has a couple of disqualified laps, and then just as we think, is he having a tough one here? It happens every week, doesn't it? I don't know why we don't see it. There he is, straight into the 204s. Unbelievable.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from Bob. Puts himself in the driving seat to hold on to his top place in the championship so far. But Bugglenut's not far behind. Nor's VXR Thrasher, Mr. Salt, just over a second away. So it's really, really close still at the top. We're on board with Crichton Alpha now, who's just inside the top 10 at the moment. A little bit of a struggle around that last corner, a little bit of sideways movement, but can he make amends on his 10th place finish as he goes over the line now? No, so no changes to his time there, position should I say. Still in 10th place after that lap, but one racer to go, Jamie. Come on, Jimmy H, let's put a time down and get
Jimmy.
yourself amongst this pack.
We want him to get some good points there. He deserves it. He absolutely does. Just on board with Rolf Pierre. Trev will be pleased to see that at the moment he's in 11th, just outside the points. So if he stays there, it's not going to do enough to take that third spot from Trev.
No, Trevor, is in third place at the moment. Just a point separates him and Rolfie in fourth. So Rolfie's going to have to improve on his times if he's going to challenge that at all. There's no improvement there from that lap either. I was hoping he might just pop up with a better time after that lap there, but it hasn't happened. Took at the moment running on a 2:09 in 13th place at the moment again. We like to see Toot race. He's not quite managed to challenge at the higher ends of the grid so far, but hey, there's a time and a place for someone new to start attacking the top of the grid with a little bit of extra practice perhaps. But yeah, Bob so far leads the way with the 2:04. Bugglenut's just behind, VXR Thrasher in third, Mr. Salt in fourth, Odyssey in fifth, all in the 2:05 club. Trevor Hump says on the chat, Rolfie deserves to beat him. Well, if he deserves to beat you, Trevor, he will beat you. So, he's got it all. It's all in his hands basically. He just needs a point or two to level or take over. So he needs to come 10th minimum. And it's all in his hands. Currently not able to do that in 11th place, so it is all on his shoulders to do that. Roughneck 1, we're on board now, currently in 14th place. 2:09 is the best he can put down so far. With Jimmy H official still yet to put a time down. Come on, Jimmy, we need it from you, my boy. Come on, Jimmy, here we go.
Oh man, that was bad timing. That was bad timing. I'm sorry, Jim.
We're trying to push him along. I mean, the work Jimmy puts in to organise this on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's not quite coming off on the track for him. But he'll always be here. He'll always be putting the effort in. He'll always be, grinding to get this Thursday night up and running. But we just want to see him up in the points. Would be really good for his morale more than anything else. But just over 8 minutes to go, Jamie, and it's still Bob leading the way. Who do you think is going to be the closest challenger to him for top spot this evening?
I don't know if we're going to see it change much more. I mean, the only person wondering whether Mr. Salt could shave a few tenths off, get a bit closer, but it's unlikely. Well, I say that, but who knows? But to get into those 2:04s is a serious feat, so it's going to take some going.
Yeah, we're on board with Rob 3 at the moment, who was the early leader in this qualifying session, posting a very early 2:06. He hasn't able to better that so far, finds himself down in 7th place at the moment. But on his day, again, Rob's a decent racer. Unfortunately, it's not quite panned out the way you would like some of these races so far. I mean, earlier in season 1 of the Noob Gamers Championships, we saw him attacking the top of the grid, in the top 3 positions. But for whatever reason, it's just not quite worked out for him so far, has it?
No, he's undoubtedly got the pace. He just needs to get a bit lucky in qualifying, perhaps, because his problem seems to be he ends up not quite getting that perfect lap in, and he starts a bit further down in the pack, and that's where he has issues with tapping other people through his fault or not. Both ways. It's just if you put yourself in that pack, it obviously opens up the opportunity for issues, and that's meant he's not been able to get the points he probably deserves with the speed he's got.
No.
So another one to watch.
Exactly, yeah. It's just not quite happened for him. But hey, his time will come, I'm sure. But it's still Bob that leads the way. We've really not seen any movement to the leaderboard at the moment. So Boggernuts, VXR Thrasher and Mr. Salt are going to keep attacking with Odyssey just in behind them. Roy Klops has now joined the 205 club as well. So a top 6 at the moment, all posting really, really good times. So we could see a fantastic race ahead of us once again. I mean, I for one, I'm really looking forward to it this evening. I'm hoping we're going to have an exciting race on the track. Odyssey just gone over the start finish line, hasn't able to better that early time he posted over 2:05, but hey, still 6 minutes left, Jamie. Still some times left for some laps to be put in.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. We haven't seen much movement from the guys in the top 6 or 7. They've put their fastest laps in right at the start, and none of them, bar Bob, who obviously took a couple of laps, have really improved. I mean, I'm just thinking, do you reckon Odyssey's a bit, thinking a bit gutted to be down in 5th because he smashed that lap in early doors and it was looking absolutely fantastic, but somehow he's ended up in 5th.
Yeah, it was an excellent lap time he put down, but inside himself he knows he's up against some really good races here this evening. So as much as I think he would have saw himself up there early doors, he must have had a little bit inside himself that just thought, I'm probably not going to stay here for too much longer unless I keep improving on this time. But hey, still with a 2:05, only half a second or so I'm away from top spot. Of course, when race day hits, if he qualifies in 5th place, unfortunately just goes off the track there, so we'll probably invalidate that lap time. But as you said, on his day he's an excellent racer. If he can just keep up his consistency during the race, I still think he can make an attack on the top few positions. But hello to Gormy Baby, who says evening in the chat. Of course, if you just joined us here, we are 5 minutes away from the end of this qualifying session for, of course, the final race of the Noob Gamers Championships. Gorm says Matt has literally been practicing 24/7 this week, so I bet he's a bit annoyed. But who knows?
Yeah,
but
he's been going for it this week.
He has indeed. But yeah, if you just joined us, feel free to get involved in the chat. The people who are getting involved in the chat are always a friendly bunch, so feel free to start communicating with the rest of the Noob Gamers team, or just sit back, relax and enjoy all the racing we have in store for you this evening. Qualifying is nearly finished now before we're of course going to bring you the big race where we should see plenty of action out there. But yes, as Trevor said, it's still a good time at 2:05 indeed.
Very good,
but
yeah.
we're on board with Not Benjamin, 2:08 from him. Doesn't look like he's going to make a late challenge with those times at the moment. And we're just playing the waiting game really to see, who out of this top 10 are going to make any gains on their early times. And at the moment, Jamie, we're still not seeing it.
Well, we have seen one. Kino has popped himself up into 7th he was on a 2:09 or something, so he's found 3 seconds from somewhere.
I didn't quite get that name. Sorry, can you just repeat?
Let me just try that. Let me just get the right number of E's. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Kino. Maybe too many O's there. Sorry.
Yeah, too many O's. Yeah, but yeah, as you said, 7th place. He's happy with that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Jimmy's still in the pits. He's not come out. I can't have taken that long to fix this damage, so as we see Kino go a bit wide. So I don't know whether he's either given up or he's just building up his energy, or the baby started crying and he's had to nip off. It's one of those options.
It could be that indeed. Now we are seeing people starting to make their way into the pits now, of course. That will mean if they come out for another lap, their tyres will go cold again. So really difficult to come straight back out of the pits now with only 3 minutes remaining and put down a decent lap time unless you pull out a miraculous effort. But still a few races out there. We've still got VXR Thrasher, we've still got Mr. Salt, Kino still out there, who's got himself a 2:06, and we're just seeing Odyssey come back out of the pits now. But as we said, his tyres are going to be cold now from going back in the pits, so maybe not the best opportunity, unless of course he's not touched the tyres, Jamie, and he's just popped in to do something else. Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, could have. He may have run out of fuel, of course.
Yeah, that could be another option. But we're on board with Crichton Alpha in 11th place at the moment, and he's actually pushed Rolfie down to 12th. So remember, Rolfie needs 1 point to level 3rd place at the moment to knock on Trevor's door for 3rd place, and it's not happening for him. As I say that, we appear to have lost the driver. We're down to 15 now. So Rolfie shot himself up to 11th place. Just trying to look down the pack and see who that is. It's not Jimmy H, who we thought might have been, considering he hasn't popped a time down yet. Kino up to 7th. Who's missing? It's a difficult one to work out. Mr. Salt looks like he's left us.
Mr. Soul, yeah, you're
Mr.
right.
Salt, yeah. Yeah, good timing on the message, T-Matt. So Mr. Salt's left the qualifying session. I wonder whether he's having some problems with his PC, perhaps, or some sort of issue. But yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Salt has left us for qualifying, so that will mean he'll start towards the back of the grid for this evening's race. Now remember, Mr. Salt is in second place in the championship. He needs to finish 4 places ahead of Bob to challenge his lead at the top of the championship. So he's going to have a real job on his hands from the end of the grid, isn't he?
He is back. His game crashed, Max is telling us. We'll miss the race. Oh no, yeah, so that wipes out our championship battle straight away, doesn't it? Is anyone else close enough? Is anyone else within 10 points, Ryan? I don't think they are they?
The only person who is close with 11 points difference is Rolfie.
Oh, he can't quite do it.
But what that means for Rolfie is Rolfie could finish second tonight if he just comes 4th. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, no, he comes 4th, gets 7 points. So
come on then, Rolfie. Okay.
There we go.
Does that secure 3rd for Trevor? No, it doesn't really change anything for Trevor.
No, Razensnell Freddie is Razensnell's not racing with us this evening.
No,
Roy
he's not here
Klopp's
tonight.
Roy Klopp's only 5
He's
points behind
there.
Trevor. So there's still a few things that could happen, but yeah, really unfortunate with Mr. Salt leaving us there. This is of course his final race on a Thursday night as he's joining the Big Boys League. The AOC managed to qualify. He's done really, really well to make his way into those races. He will be sticking with us on a Sunday, I believe. So you will still get your Mr. Salt action here once a week. But yeah, big congratulations to him for making Tier 3, I believe, of the AOC Championship. So, a little shout out to him there. But just a few seconds left, Jamie, and it's Bob who leads the way.
Yeah, I think that, like we said, starting with that 204, that's done it. That's so hard to get anywhere near that. So he's popped that in, and that's done it. But Bugwellnut's only 2/10 off, Thrasher only 3/10 off, and that's promoted Odyssey to 4th with Mr. Salt leaving. So that's a great starting position for him. Potentially his highest starting position. I'm not sure if he was higher last race actually, but certainly well up there. So he's in with the great chance. Just needs to have a good start, keep it calm. We saw him last time, didn't we? Jump the gun at the start, take loads of places, but then have to have the drive-through, which ruined the race. So he just needs to play it safe. He's in 4th. He's got a great chance of a podium here.
Yes, and as much as I love Sin City tuning in to this stream, he is, of course, racing in 8th place. Perhaps, Sin, that's why you're in 8th place, because you're watching us too much. You need to concentrate on your race. I jest, of course, I jest. But yeah, 2:06 from Sin, still really good times, down into 9th place. Mad Knife still posting 2:06s, which, as we said before the race, 2:06 is a really decent time on this track. 2:05s you're sort of in top round, but, Bob's managed to pull out a 2:04 and done really, really well.
Yeah, indeed, yeah, absolutely.
Mr.
Well
Salt
done,
just joining the chat. My game crashed for the first time ever, and he got kicked out, which...
Devastating.
Absolutely devastating. As we said, his final race on a Thursday and he's not able to complete it, which is just unbelievable. But hopefully he can stick around and see how the other racers get on this evening. But there we go. There's our final confirmation. It's Bob Hump in 1st, Bugwellnuts in 2nd, VXR Thrasher in 3rd, Odyssey 4th, Roy Klops in 5th, Kino up to 7th. Is Rob 3 up to 7th and 6th. Christ, can't even speak tonight. Rob 3 in 7th. It's Sin in 8th. Mad Knife 10th. And Rolfie 87 gets himself into 10th. So let's head over to the big race.
And we've lost Bob. Oh no. We're not having this qualifying bug, are we?
And as we were showing a little intro video there, it appears we have lost Bob in his entirety as well.
Bob.
Just Bob. So
So it's not the bug.
I wonder, Bob's been kicked out too.
Oh my days.
So we're having some crazy technical issues with Project Cast 2 this evening, as we haven't been told that the race won't be continuing without these boys. So it looks like Bugwellnuts gets himself into 1st place, Thrasher in 2nd, Odyssey up to 3rd, Roy Klops in 4th. And Jamie, this race has been blown wide open.
Well, it's the top two guys and the two guys that are obviously leaving us after this on the Thursday night. Perhaps this is the game's way of getting revenge. Just perhaps it's karma. It's saying, well, if you're going to not do Thursdays anymore, can't do this then.
Maybe not. Yeah, of course. Bob and Mr. Salt, we've lost then. Apparently, T-Max said Bob got disconnected in practice yesterday, practicing for the LMP. So he's obviously having a few issues connecting to servers from his PC. But yeah, Bob and Mr. Salt out of the race, which leaves the door wide open for someone to win this championship. It could be no one else other than Bob Hunt, Mr. Salt, or Trevor Hunt, and none of them are racing. So all the race is on for is to see who can come second in the championship, and it's Rolfie and Roy Klops who are the ones that can do it. Bibby not racing with us this evening. Mad Knife could make his way up to third place with a win in this race. Boggernuts could also get up to third place with a win in this race. So, hey,
of course.
Remember, we do, of course, have the Hall of Fame on the Noob Gamers website. You come second or third, and you get yourself in the Hall of Fame. So, still things to go for. So, Boggernuts is going to lead us off in this race. 30 minutes of action ahead, and here we go. Nice and clean from the start so far. No crashes off the start-finish line. Only 14 races now. But Bob's just popped in the chat to say he kept getting kicked out. But Boggernuts isn't going to get himself in a very good line at all, as Odyssey and Thrasher both get themselves ahead. There's a little bit of a shunt there from Odyssey, but it's not put Thrasher off too wildly, and he holds on to first place with Odyssey just in behind in second. Boggernuts up to third. And, hey, VXR Thrasher, your pick, of course, Jamie, for this race, has started the race really, really well.
Boggernuts down to third, of course, starting on pole. Odyssey got another great run, so it'll be interesting to see if he jumped the lights again or not. It wasn't as obvious as last time, but he got a great run on the two guys in front. So he's straight up into second, almost had the lead, but Thrasher just managed to hold that inside line. But Boggernuts having a bad start, and look who's jumped up to fourth. Places changing all over the start. It's Kino and Jimmy H up into eighth from the start, from the back of the grid. What a great start. Fantastic times.
Really good start. So Odyssey, we're on board with him now. He's just in behind VXR Thrasher. You can see he's got the pace on him there. Had to pull off a little bit slightly as he's going to go straight into the back of him. So he's going to attack VXR Thrasher all the way. And just in behind, Kino's having a right old go on the back of Boggernuts as well. So it looks like this pack with no Mr. Salt and no Bob Humph is going to be unbelievable for the entirety of this race.
Yeah, it's really condensed the pace, hasn't it? Yeah, I mean, Kino, Rolfie, interestingly, he had dropped down to 11th, but he's managed to get himself back up to 9th, so he's got in those all-important 2 points at the moment. Everyone looks like they've got away cleanly, though. No major incidents. I tell you what, Odyssey has got a great chance of taking his maiden victory here. A great chance.
He has. This is the best chance he's got. But as we say that, he makes a mistake on the corner we pointed out earlier in our track guide was going to be the one to watch, and he drops down to fourth with Kino and Boggernuts jumping up ahead of him. So just as we were saying how good his chances were, Jamie, a mistake from himself. He can't even blame anyone else.
Oh, I know. I feel like that was a bit of commentator's curse there. I'm trying my best to pick him up here. Look at this pack. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can see 12 drivers all on the start-finish straight in one camera shot there.
Yeah, this pack is so close, which is meaning we're going to get an unbelievable night of racing. I, for one, am very excited, and we're getting a little look at Odyssey's mistake coming up on your screen there now. Just overcooked the corner and goes straight off, but it's Boggernuts now who has the opportunity to attack VXR Thrasher in first place. And at the moment, VXR Thrasher is doing well to hold on, but every time we seem to jump on the person in second place, they seem to be slowly gaining. So we could have a real battle at the top of our hands. But as you said, Jamie, we've got a real snaky pack building up, loads of races getting involved. And hey, if one big incident happens at the top of the grid and starts slowing everyone up, we could have almost all 14 racers getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare that almost at the end of lap 2, the top 12 racers are all within 10 seconds. And here, could this be a move for the Boggernuts for the lead?
So Boggernuts is going to attack here. He's trying to go down the outside, using the apexes to try and get a little bit of extra room. Hasn't able to find his way through yet. But Bob Hump, as we say that, has dropped us a subscribe. on his 2-month streak with the channel, and of course we very, very much appreciate that. But we're going to see if Bogglenuts can make a move here. He's trying to attack VXR here, but VXR doing so well to fend him off. Odyssey's trying to get his place back, and he's all over the back of Kino, who's in third at the moment. He's trying to use slipstreaming well. You can see he's making those advances. We can see some really late braking from the people in front, and it gives third and fourth the opportunity to catch up. So excellent stuff here. We've got a real race on our hands for fourth place. And as we're speaking, it's another subscribe to the channel, and it's Mr. Salt this time dropping us some love, and we really appreciate it, Jamie. But hey, this race is really hotting up.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, appreciate that, especially as you dropped out through this stupid game. Yeah, Odyssey, we saw him there taking that chicane again, the one that he had the error on last lap. He just managed to hold it that time, but he's pushing hard. And I thought he was going wide there, but he's held it. He's pushing hard on Kino. What a race Kino's having, up in third, currently on the podium positions. Bogglenuts does have a penalty though, just a 1-second one, but something to be aware of, I think.
Indeed, and it's Hello Blasotto who joins us this evening. He says, hello fellas, thanks for joining us this evening, my friend. We've got 25 minutes of racing left for you, plenty of action for you to get your teeth into as we're on board with Bogglenuts, who does have a second penalty, but that's okay at the moment, you know, still plenty of time left for him to work that out. And it's sideways movement at the front from VXR Thrasher, and it opens the door for Bogglenuts. Can he make the most of it? And it doesn't look like Jamie's going to.
I thought that was a guaranteed pass there. Don't know how Thrasher kept that. Has he got the inside line here? He does. A great move.
Great move from Bogglenuts there. So he bided his time, tried to get through on that initial mistake from VXR, wasn't able to do it, but waits for the next corner and overtakes to take first place. So some excellent stuff. We should be bringing you a replay of that to the stream race shortly, so you guys can see that all over again. But Jamie, some excellent driving from Bogglenuts.
Yeah, really good. I thought he'd done it, but he didn't quite have enough. But he didn't lose his head. He didn't get frustrated. He kept calm. He got the run on the next corner, and he was away. Kino, again, we've seen him. We've not seen him up here in these positions before, but he's keeping it well. He's got the pace, and he's pushing for second. These top 5 are really close together still.
Yeah, so close. Just 2 seconds separate the top 5 at the moment. Rob is the final competitor in this really close top 5. VXR Thrasher just going off the track slightly there, so his driving, you know, is a little bit erratic, should I say, at the moment in second. But I just saw at the back there, it looks like Odyssey took a nudge, and we've had someone go spinning off the track, and that looks like Kino. Kino's dropped down to 7th. Unfortunately, we weren't quite on board as it happened, but Kino goes spinning off the track and finds himself down to 7th. Unbelievable for him. That's really, really unlucky.
And Crichton just rubbed salt in the wound by coming past. Yeah, sorry about that. I was busy watching the lead battle, and just out the back of I wasn't sure who it was. Was it collision with Odyssey, did you say?
It looks like a collision with Odyssey, yeah. There was some sort of coming together. Obviously, I'm not in a position to say whose fault it was because we didn't see enough of the action, but it certainly sent Kino flying. So I wonder whether it was a little nudge that slowed him down and then someone went straight into the back of him perhaps. But we're on board with Royklops now. He's got a battle on his hands with Sin for 5th position. Sin's going to attack him though into this corner, going to try and go down the outside, but has he got enough pace? Which, you know, that would have been a fantastic move to get round the outside. Little flash of the lights there from Sin, almost to say well done, but he's going to have a go on the inside. There's a little bit of a coming together as Sin makes his way up into 5th, so he's done Royklops there and gained a position on the track. So some good driving there from Sin.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped on board with Royklops initially because he was having a good old battle with Rob 3, but as soon as we jumped on board, Rob seemed to get the run on him, got the pass done, and then all of a sudden Sin was there. Rob does have himself a little penalty, just a second again, and a 2-second for Mad Knife, so a couple of penalties, but nothing major at the moment. But again, these positions are swapping all the time. As we see Thrasher with a penalty, a 2-second penalty, so that's interesting because he's still right on that lead. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Odyssey's managed to escape with no penalty, so we'll have to see what happened with that collision after the race, I think.
Indeed, so you can see replays of the move coming from Sin now on the inside. A little bit of a nudge to knock Royklops wide. You know, I don't think he's picked up a penalty for it, so obviously the stewards don't deem it to be too aggressive. But as we say that, VXR Thrasher has done the dirty on Bogglenuts.
He's done the dirty on it, and he's taken back the lead. Sorry, I was distracted because I've just noticed we've lost Jimmy H from the race. Devastating. I don't know what's happened there.
So he's, I think he's getting the blame for Mr. Salt and Bob not making the race so far. But we should be getting a replay on your screens now of VXR making that move. He comes up right up behind him there. We can see it's a replay within a replay within a replay we've got going on with lots of action here to bring you this evening. I'm just going to have another look myself at exactly what happened. VXR pushing now. Going round this corner.
Bob in chat saying Buggy had a slowdown for cutting the corner.
There we go. Yeah, you couldn't quite see it on the camera there, but yeah, it did look like Bugglenuts did go off the track. But he's going to attack straight back here. You can see he's hanging on to the coattails of VXR Thrasher in first. So these two really having a ding-dong battle either way, and it's going to go right down to the wire unless one of them makes a horrendous error, because these two drivers are almost neck and neck in terms of lap times as well. So these two are going to be going at it for some time, I feel, Jamie.
Yeah, it does seem like they're really evenly matched. Odyssey's still there. He's dropped a few seconds back with all the incidents he's had. But we know he's got the pace. And Rob 3, we said before, we know he's quick. He's managed to get through the first few laps incident-free. He's into fourth. Can he start putting some serious lap times in and challenging the guys in front? What we will have to keep an eye on closest to the end, of course, is the relative penalties between these two. Because at the moment, there's 3/10 on the track.
Yes.
So 1 or 2 second penalties could be important.
Exactly right, and there's a lot of people on the chat talking about the touring cars. Not the most favourite car of our racers that we have in our community. I do believe, I understand there might be an announcement this evening to what is going to be the special race for next Thursday, which I can confirm is not touring cars. So stay tuned for that. Blasotto, if you want to get involved in that one-off special next week, hey, the opportunity might be there for you. And then it's, of course, straight into Season 3, which hasn't been announced either, I don't think. But hopefully we can bring you some announcements tonight to let you guys know what is coming up soon. But we're on board with Bugglenuts, and this race for the 1 and 2 is going all the way at the moment. We're over 10 minutes into this race, and these two have been going at it all the time long.
It does, sorry to cut over. It does seem like, and here we go, here's the move on the inside. A wonderful move again from Bugglenuts. We've seen that's 2 great moves he's had to make. I was just about to, is Thrasher coming back?
Yep, Thrasher's come back. Bugglenuts goes a little bit wide, so these two crossing paths over and over, really going at it here. Some great racing, of course. Don't forget, if you've just joined the stream, we've lost Mr. Salt, we've lost Bob Humph. So it's opened the door for first place here this evening, with 2 of our quickest racers not able to make the race day through some technical issues with Project Cars 2. But VXR Thrasher and Bugglenuts won't mind that at all, as those two are all going at it for first place here this evening.
Yeah, what a battle we've got here. I was just about to say before that series of corners that Bugglenuts seems to have just maybe an edge on pace, because Thrasher, when he's in the front, just can't quite pull out a gap. Whereas when Bugglenuts was out front, he was extending slowly that lead, but Bugglenuts were right over the back of him. A fantastic move into corner 1, but then a great keeping a calm head from Thrasher to take that place back, and battle resumed. Odyssey sitting a pretty stable, about 3 seconds off this battle, in a battle of his own with Rob a further 3 seconds back. So I wonder whether he's just trying to keep it calm after the few little incidents and bring home that maiden podium for him.
Yeah, it will be a maiden podium position for Odyssey, who sits in third in behind VXR Thrasher and Bugglenuts, who are in 1-2 at the moment. Mr. Salt claiming some sort of conspiracy on the chat, saying technical issues.
Not seen Mr. Salt ever had such a head gone. He's getting a bit, info wars on us here.
Yeah.
Conspiracy and stuff.
We'll pop the heads gone in the chat for
chill,
him.
mate.
Yes.
Don't worry.
He's asking to check out Sin and Rob 3.
Let's jump on
board. So Sin looks like he's going to make an attack on Rob 3. Rob, of course, has got a penalty. Roy Klopp's just behind them in 6th. So at the moment, the 4th place position is under threat from Sin and Roy Klopp's. And Rob 3, who traditionally doesn't race with a head on his shoulders, has to keep his head here, Jamie.
Yeah, he does. He's got track position here. But he's racing well, and Sin making a move, and he has made the move.
Oh,
but
he's gone all the way off. Oh,
Sin
City. We'll have to bring a replay of that on your screen. The cameras didn't do that any justice. Not sure what happened, but he is just flown off the track. So crazy scenes, and he might even lose another place here to Mad Knife. He's going to try and hold on to 6th on the inside. Manages to pull out just ahead, but yeah, unfortunately that battle between Rob and Roy Klops and Sin is over as Sin drops down to 7th. Unbelievable. We've got a replay of that coming on your screens now. We pretty much missed it because of the camera angles didn't quite lend themselves to what we needed to see, but you just saw towards the end Sin go flying off the track, but he's going to have a battle in his hands to even stay in 7th place at the moment now.
Well, it's because he shot. I think he just outbraked himself. He was carrying too much speed into that first corner, and he shot so far and so fast off the track that the cameras, I just don't think they're used to going out there. They couldn't keep up with him, and all of a sudden, then he was dropping down the order so fast, trying to click him. It looked like he made the move and just carried too much speed.
Yeah, simple as that.
He is costing.
Yeah, we're on board with Roy Klops, who's still attacking Rob in 4th place at the moment. So you can see from this camera angle now what's going on between all the cars in and around them. But Roy Klops going down the inside, and it's an excellent manoeuvre from Roy Klops. However, he's not quite got the line going into this next corner. Is he going to hold on to it? It looks like he is. No, he's not, as Rob wrestles that position back. Gets on the inside line. We couldn't quite see where the positioning of Roy Klops' car was then as Rob came down on the inside, but an excellent manoeuvre all the same. So Roy Klops continues to be in 5th place, wasn't quite able to hold on to the early manoeuvre we saw there for 4th place, Jamie.
Yeah, the power of that inside line. A really good move at high speed on that right-hander though, but really fair driving from Rob there. It would have been really easy to just touch the cars and they both spin out. He gave him enough space, and then he was able to hold that inside line all the way on that drag race down to the chicane, and is kept in the place. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that. There's so many battles to keep an eye on, including this really interesting one as Sin tries to work his way back up. But Mad Knife putting up a good defence so far in the points.
Yeah,
into 6th, he'll be very happy with that. Whereas Rolfie, he's in 9th, so he's doing just enough at the moment.
Rolfie, of course, just needs 1 point to take over one of his nemesises, Trevor, and he's doing everything he can so far to do that in 9th place at the moment. We're back on board for this battle for 4th place with Roy Klops. We can see the cockpit view, just how close they are, these two going at it. You can see just ahead in the distance as well, the Carb Odyssey. He's not, they're slowly, I feel, gaining him. It doesn't seem to be getting much further away, even those two are going at it. But it's a bit all over the road here, Roy Klops. Not quite holding the car onto the track as he would hope for, but he's still giving Rob 3 plenty to think about here.
Yeah, it seems like he's got the pace advantage, Roy Klops, for sure, but Rob's putting up a good defence so far. Could this be the moment, though? He's got the line this time, he's got the inside. Oh, not very early braking, but Rob's outbraked himself. But he's managed to just hold it on the outside.
We could see an attack down the outside here from Roy Klops, but no, not quite enough. So these two, it seems to be the battle of the brakes at the moment. They seem to be outdoing each other or themselves at certain points, but the inside line reigning supreme. So yeah, Roy Klops has got the inside line this time on this corner. Is he going to do an Odyssey and fall foul? No, so he holds on to that really well. So some excellent driving there from Roy Klops to hold on to the position he's taken, and he's into 4th place.
Yeah, it was interesting that because we saw the polar opposite of the lap before, didn't he? They'd swapped the lines, and Roy Klops managed to get himself on the right side of the track that time to get the place done. Odyssey in the 206s, the high 206s, low 207s. So not bad pace at all. But he's just sitting sort of comfortably, but he is a couple of seconds. He's just a few tenths a lap off the leaders, isn't he, off the top two. So he'll be looking to hang on to that 3rd place, I think, which would obviously be a fantastic result for him.
Yeah, so we're on board still with this battle for 4th and 5th, but you can see from the times the battle for 1st place is still going on as well, just half a second splits them. So we really have got some battles up and down this track here this evening, and we're doing our best to bring you all the action. Yeah, I've misplaced a few words this evening. You
had a busy day.
Had a busy day, yeah. I'll put it down to that. I'll put it down to that. Bob Hump's asking, how many points does Roy have before the race? Well, Bob, I could tell you, or you could visit www.noobgamers.com and find out. But I will have a look for you as well. So Roy Klops has got 10 points.
Well, Trevor's been doing the mental maths for us, and he said that move from Roy Klops there has actually put him into 3rd place. If he stays 4th and Rolfie stays 9th, it's actually Roy Klops that'll be taking 3rd place off Trevor.
No. Come on, Rolfie, pull your finger out, son, in 9th place. You've got 3rd place to be fighting for here. Come on.
Roy Klopp's a race winner this championship, of course. Let's not forget. Round
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, Roy Klotz, to be fair to him, has got some serious pace on his day. Of course, did wing. What's going on? Win.
You've been drinking?
Feels like
Yeah.
it. Don't know what's going on.
You're a teetotal, but is this the day you've chosen first time
Yeah.
in life to try
First
alcohol?
time in my life, I thought I'd just get on the booze before I do a live stream. Why not?
It's not gone well.
It's not gone well. But yeah, VXR Thrasher in second place. And the times between the top two at the moment are so close, Jamie.
Oh, they've swapped again whilst we were watching all those other battles, but they're so close together all the time. It's hard to tell. But Bugglenuts has got that lead back again, but Thrasher's not letting him go.
No, but remember, I believe, if my memory serves me well, although, you know, we can see how I'm faring this evening, I think Thrasher's got a 2-second penalty and Bugglenuts a 1 second. Am I right?
Let's have a little look. It's a
3
3
second
seconds
now.
now for Thrasher, yeah.
So he's going to not only need to take over Bugglenuts, but also gain at least 2 seconds to outright win this race, Jamie.
Yeah, and here we go. Sin is... Oh, Crichton was actually making the move on Sin, but Sin's managed to defend. He's still behind Mad Knife. I did half expect him to pick bad pace back up again and take Mad Knife fairly easily, but he hasn't done. And he's actually been attacked from Crichton. So whether he got a bit of damage or something, or shredded his tyres by going so far off the track before, but he's not quite as quick as he was before. Let's jump a bit further down the pack and have a look at two real-life friends here having a friendly battle on the track for the last 2 points positions. Rolfie and not Benjamin.
Rolfie and not Benjamin going at it for 9th place. Of course, Rolfie needs to make some gains if he's to have the opportunity to take 3rd place this evening. Our centre mid joins us as he always does on the Noob Gamers stream. Big hello to centre mid, who of course does hold one of our cheeky little VIP badges that we were able to hand out thanks to the community building up here on the Noob Gamers stream. But hello centre mid, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you're having a fantastic evening. You join us with 9 minutes of this race to go. We're on board with the ding dong battle that's been going on for 1st and 2nd. We're in the cockpit of VXR Thrasher, and you can see how close that was. He did nearly make a move on the inside, but there wasn't quite enough room to pass. But I feel here, Jamie, he seems to have a little bit more pace on Bugglenuts at the moment. He's just waiting for that move to come through.
Yeah, a bit of a nudge there into that chicane. It's so close, isn't it, between these two? You can't split them. What a race they're having. I imagine they're really enjoying this, the two of them. Given the chance to fight, especially, and it means even more, obviously, because it's a battle for the race victory. Odyssey in 3rd, he's dropped about 9 seconds back now. I wonder whether he's had a bit of damage from those early race collisions and he's just not been able to set the lap times quite how he would have expected to. So I would have thought he'd have been catching these guys up, but he's sort of in a lonely 3rd position, which I suppose really he'll still be very happy with. But
yeah, he'll be happy
there's
with
a bit of damage in play.
Yeah, it could be a bit of damage, or of course, you know, hey, give credit to the boys out in 1 and 2. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
just because they've got someone to race against, they're pushing that a little bit harder. Whereas at the moment, Odyssey, of course, 3rd place all on his lonesome, and maybe just doesn't quite have that motivation to push into those corners. You know, lots of reasons for why he could be in 3rd. But yeah, centre mid says website is looking fresh, by the way, and he says he's good. How are you? Yeah, we're all good here, apart from my inability to speak this evening with certain words.
Which is important for a commentator.
It's normally quite important for a commentator, yeah, but I've decided this evening to just say different words instead of the ones I actually want to say, just to, you know, mix things up.
My favourite was breast instead of best. I enjoyed
breast instead of best.
What are you thinking
indeed.
about?
Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows, Jamie? Let's not.
You've had a good day.
Let's not perhaps go into what's going on in my mind and head back and look at the. I nearly said chat instead of track then.
Well, that would have been fine. You could have got away with that.
Yeah, I should have just rolled with it, shouldn't I? Should have just winged it. But hey, 7 minutes left. I'm not losing my mind yet. There's still an amazing battle for 1st and 2nd. Of course, if you've just joined us, Bob, Hump and Mr. Salt falling foul to some technical issues, as they'd like me to point out here this evening. Basically getting kicked out of the game for some unknown reasons, which has left the door open for a lot of racers to attack the podium positions. So we've got Bugglenuts, we've got VXR Thrasher, we've got Odyssey currently in the top 3, and this race for 1st and 2nd, Jamie, has been amazing.
It's just been like this for the entire 25 minutes so far. They've barely been off each other's bumpers. They've swapped positions about 6 times, but they just can't leave each other alone. I mean, fantastic racing for both of them to not have any sort of serious collisions. But as we know, Thrasher's got a 2-second delta over Bugglenuts, as in he's got a 3-second penalty, doesn't he? Bugglenuts 1.
Yeah.
So he needs to make the overtake and get a 2-second gap to win this race. And at the moment, neither of them can pull a 2-second gap. That just doesn't seem possible the way this race has gone.
No, it's going to take some sort of mistake for us to see the doors opening for this first place position. Texica and Olive joined us on the chat, who of course is from the Zexy Gaming clan. A bunch of tongue twisting going on today. Yeah, something like that. We'll call it that this evening. And Mr. Salk says, it's water under the bridge, Ryan, my friend. It's a pleasure to watch the stream live for once, and at least I get to keep my second place, which, yes, I believe with the points that are available this evening, Roy Klops can win the race and level you. Rolfie could win the race and overtake you, but that looks unlikely at this stage of the race.
Well, as he says himself, Roy Klops is catching Odyssey for third. He's a second and a half a lap quicker at the moment, based on current laps, so he's pulling him in. He's almost within that magic 1 second mark. Is he going to steal Odyssey's podium way right at the death? Oh, that'd be devastating.
Who knows? But interesting at the top though, VXR Thrasher's obviously been going off the track a little bit, or picked up an issue, because he's dropped 4 seconds behind now. So the race for first place looks like it's over, and we need to jump back on board with Roy Klops. As we have looked, me and Jamie absolutely in sync with what's going on as we flick to Roy Klops mid-sentence, and he's catching Odyssey quickly.
He is. It's going to be really fascinating, the last 4 or 5 minutes of this race. With the pressure, Roy Klops, he's clearly got the speed. Can Odyssey just hang on for the last, what would it be, 2, maybe 3 laps, and take that first ever podium? But we know Roy Klops is a race winner. He's been there, he's done it before, he's got the experience. Odyssey, never been on the podium, so he's going to be feeling that pressure.
Yes, could we see a heads gone moment from Odyssey here this evening? It's all in his hands for third place at the moment. He just needs to keep his cool, keep racing the way he's been racing the rest of the race. But you can see those lap times, Jamie, and Roy Klops with a 2:06.5 is catching him.
Yeah, and he's under that 1 second mark now. So now it's all about, can Odyssey put his car in the right place? Can he defend that inside line on those chicanes? Just a couple more laps, can he get away with it? And it's another battle going on, which we'll just have a quick look at. Is Sin is still behind Mad Knight, so Mad Knight's kept that position for 5 or 6 laps now, a really solid 6th place. So fair play to him. Yeah,
really good stuff. But yeah, we jump back on board with the battle with Roy Klops, and he's so close now. Surely it's a matter of time. We're going to keep on board with this. Roy Klops, as Jamie said earlier, has got form. He's won races in this championship already. Odyssey yet to make a podium position. So at the moment, you could say, Jamie, Roy Klops could be the favourite here to take third place.
I think so. And we see Odyssey going wide. He's struggling with tyre grip, and there's a little nudge. Oh, and that's done him a favour there, Odyssey. Just a driving incident. No blame there. He went a bit wide. Roy Klops went to make the move done, but there just wasn't quite enough space. So fair enough, but that's bought him a second of breathing room. Might that just be the difference with us getting into the last few minutes of the race, right?
Maybe, yeah. It has bought him some valuable breathing space as we bring a replay of that incident. I say incident, not really an incident. On your screens now, so you guys can have another look about that again at home. So yeah, Roy Klops pushed out to just over a second now. 2.5 minutes left to go. It could be 1 lap, it could be 2. Could even, I don't think, depending on where they're trying, I don't think 3 is possible. So it's more than likely just to be 2 laps left of this race. But Odyssey, to be fair to him, since that, has managed to slightly open up the gap here. So some good racing so far, and it falls back in the hands of Odyssey. It swung to Roy Klops, who was picking up some serious pace, managed to streamline really well and claw Odyssey back in. But the ball is back in Odyssey's court, and it's all up to him whether he's going to hold on to this third place position.
Yeah, he went wide, and as we see Roy Klops with a little mistake there again, he's a bit rattled. Odyssey actually went wide, and I thought that was him, that was it done. But in a weird way, it's actually sort of seemed to work in his advantage, as Roy Klops was squeezed out a little bit, got that knockback about a secondish behind, and even if he pulls him in now, he hasn't got long enough maybe to make the move. Could that have been the decisive move by pure coincidence to make Odyssey keep that third place?
Yeah, and as we're seeing now, I mean, the difference between the two of them now is nearly up to 3 seconds. So
Yeah.
Odyssey's putting his foot down to make sure he opens up that gap as much as he can. Of course, by him pushing really hard, though, he's got to ensure he doesn't make a mistake into the latter part of this race. As we see, Mad Knife taking a spin, nearly taking out Sin in the process. And Mad Knife will be absolutely gutted with that. He's driven so well to hold on to 6th place for all that time, and just clipping the corner there, and it sends him spinning. And Sin takes full advantage and jumps up to 6th. That's really unlucky for Mad Knife there, Jamie.
It is. Sin was putting the pressure on, but he's been putting the pressure on for a good third of the race probably. And Mad Knife is dealing with it just right with a minute to go. Just makes that little error and Sin's through. Really, really unfortunate for Mad Knife.
Yeah, we're just having a replay of that on your screens. Coming up now, and you can just see it here. He just touches the grass and comes across, and to be fair to him, does well to keep the car on the track and not to take out Sin at the same time. So although we never like to see racers go off the track of their own accord, fortunately it didn't cause a major race incident there at all, but he'll still be really devastated to be dropping down into 7th after driving so well to hold on to 6th place. But gaps around the track at the moment, so you can see Bogglenuts has really started to pull away now from VXR, over 6 seconds. Odyssey miles behind the top 2 as well. But Roy Klops, Jamie, is he catching? I feel like in the last few moments he's starting to catch again.
It is, but is it too little too late? That was his chance. The incident we saw, that was the chance. He had such a pace advantage, and he no through fault of his own really. He was very, as much as Odyssey was a bit lucky there, but I feel like Odyssey probably deserves a bit of luck with the bad luck he's had in the last few races. He deserves this podium position. Yeah, most of the battles are sort of filtered out now as we come onto the last lap. The lead's done, I think, after an amazing, engaging fight all the way through. Thrasher's obviously given up the ghost, going to settle for a very good 2nd place. So my prediction wasn't too far. I'm happy with that, I think. Rolfie's holding on to that 9th, it looks like, and Roy Klops in 4th, if not 3rd. So it looks like Trev will be a minimum of down to 5th, with both Rolfie and Roy Klops pushing him out. And I'm not sure about Bogglenuts with the win. Where was he placed in the championship?
Bogglenuts was, let me consult the leaderboard. Bogglenuts in 8th. It'll take him up to 18 points with this win, so he will also go above Trevor Hump.
Okay.
So he'll be on 18 up into at least 3rd, with Roy Klops in 4th will get 6 points, so he'll be up to 16, so Bogglenuts will be above him. So actually, Bogglenuts could get himself into 3rd place here.
Yeah.
Fair play to him. But there we go, ladies and gents. Race almost over now. We're waiting for the official confirmation. Has Bogglenuts crossed the line yet, or are we close?
Not quite.
Can't be too far away, can he?
Just these last 2, has he got enough? I don't think he's going to be able to do it, Roy Klops. And honestly, fair play if he can just navigate this last corner without incident. Yeah, brilliant racing from both of these guys. Really good, and well done to Odyssey there. Flashing the lights from Roy Klops in celebration. Bogglenuts and Thrasher as well. Fantastic battle for 1st that kept us going all the way through the race. And Rob's going to bring it home in 5th, Ryan.
Yes, there we go. There's your top 5 confirmed, ladies and gents. And Rasta300 says, congrats to the champion on winning. Great stream and comments. Well done. All cheers. No, Rasta. Cheers to you for joining us here for what was a fantastic race. But of course, don't leave us just yet. We have post-race reaction coming. We have post-race analysis coming. We should also try and get some announcements of what's happening with next week's racing and maybe even season 3. So although the action on the track is finished, there's still plenty of information coming your way that we'll be bringing you, of course, live here on twitch.tv. So please stick around for all the post-race gossip, which, hey, you shouldn't miss the entire stream. You might as well. You've watched the whole race. You might as well stick around for the rest of it. Hey, what are you thinking, Jamie? Is that a good idea?
Well, yeah, more chance to listen to you say all the words correctly. So, absolutely, that's what everyone's. Are you telling me, Ryan? Now this is news to me.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that Jimmy H will be making the season 3 announcement live on the stream? Is that what you're saying? To me?
What I'm saying to you is, I know exactly what's happening next week's stream for the one-off special.
Yeah.
I am not 100% clear on the definition of season 3. Now, Jimmy H is still in Discord, although he is muted at the moment, but we will try and give him a nudge to see if we can get some
That would be great.
exclusive announcements on the channel.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best to do that. But, of course, I'm not going to be the one to announce anything without his say. So, for us even to tell you what's going on next week, we do need him to be here. But we shall see.
Well,
But here
that's
we
what I was
go.
thinking.
We're going to get some confirmation. Buggernuts first, VXR Thrasher second, Odyssey third. Look down towards the bottom of the track, and Jimmy H, you can see, retired there. Roughneck 1 in 13th place. But back towards the top, Buggernuts 1, VXR Thrasher 2, Odyssey third, Roy Klops in 4th, Rob 3 in
still
5th,
happening.
still happening. Sin in 6th, Mad Knife in 7th, Crichton Alpha 8th, Rolfie 87 in 9th, and Not Benjamin 2010 in 10th, aptly. In 11th, it's Kino. We've got Tukin 12 and Roughneck 1, and Jimmy H close out the scenes there. So let's head back to the studio and dissect that one. Whoa! So there we go. That was an evening of racing. Once again on a Thursday. And Jamie, we saw some fantastic stuff on the track this evening.
Yeah, some really engaging battles, especially for the lead. It was really close, really, wasn't it? All the way through the field. And it wasn't until very near the end that it sort of seemed to spread out a bit and people were settling. I think the tyres were going off. It's a grueling track for these touring cars. And I think the tyres were starting to go off, so everyone was sort of settling for where they were. But some great positions. A maiden victory for Buggernuts on this stream. Thrasher as well with a podium. Odyssey with his first podium. Roy Klopp's a brilliant 4th. Rob, again, we were talking about him, weren't we? He's managed to bring it home in a really good points position.
Yeah.
Sin doing well to recover up to 6th. Mad Knife as well. Great 7th position. He seems very happy in the chat. Yeah, so really good racing overall.
Overall, indeed. Let's head over to our interview corner now, where we're going to try and bring you some live reaction from some of the racers we just saw take part. So stick with us. So here we are for some post-race reaction. Let's see who we've got in the chat, Jamie. And of course, it's only probably right that we bring in this evening's winner, Buggernuts, into the commentary box for his reaction to this evening's race. Buggernuts, are you there?
I am indeed.
He is indeed. Well done. First place. You must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it would have been a different story if Bob was about and Mr. Salt were battling out, but I'll take that.
Are we losing some connection here to
You hear me all right?
Discord? Oh, we lost.
He's back. He's back.
We were back. Yeah, we lost a little bit at the end of your sentence there because Discord
Sorry, I
seemed to
said
cut out, but-
yes, I was happy with that, but obviously if Bob and that had been around, I think it would have been a different story, but yeah, I'll take it.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there was some great pace being shown. A wonderful battle between you and Thrasher almost through the entire race. Talk us through how stressful that was.
Well, at one point I was in the lead for quite a while, and then I made a bit of a mistake at the chicane and he went through. But then I noticed he had a 3-second penalty, and I was like, if I stay with him, and then eventually he just backed off. So, yeah, good on him for letting me go. But at one point I was like, yes, I'm through. And he came straight back across. I was like, ah. But yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, we saw you guys going at it for what felt like the entirety of the entire race.
At one point I was worried I was going to make a mistake. And I was like, don't make any mistakes.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
make any
that
mistakes.
That was going to be my question. Like, normally, as you said, we've seen races up and down on a Thursday and a Sunday here. You've got people like Bob, Mr. Salt up there. And perhaps you hadn't had the opportunity until yet to really attack the top places. But this evening, not only did you have a racer in and around you putting a lot of pressure on, but it was also for first place. Did you feel some added pressure on your shoulders this evening, given the position you were in?
A little bit, but not too bad. I'd been practicing all week, getting consistent lap times in the night, in the dark, in the temperatures that we were in. And I was like, I've got to put this practice to, good use, because I've been doing it pretty much every other day. And I've been getting 205s, 205.2s, and I was like, come on, I did a 205.1 yesterday. Today, weren't quite on those times, but it was enough to keep the consistency up. But yeah, there was definitely some pressure there.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic battle to watch between the two of you. You were just so close. Like you said, at the end, he sort of backed off a bit. But for a good 2/3 of the race, you were almost inseparable on each other's bumpers. So, great race, well defended, and enjoy the victory.
Will do.
Well done. Yes, we'll let you go back into the paddock, but thank you for joining us.
No worries. See you later.
See you later. So that was Bogganuts who joined us. He was, of course, the victor this evening, taking all 10 points in the race. And he sounded pretty happy with that, Jamie.
As you would be, yeah. It was a really good race. We've actually got, rarely for us, we've got the top three all in Discord. So shall we work through them?
Let's work through them and get VXR in here and see what he's got to say. So we're going to bring VXR into the commentary box this evening. He, of course, finished in second place after a fantastic race at the top with Bogganuts. VXR, are you there?
I am indeed. Hello.
Hello. How much did you enjoy that, albeit not quite, you could have maybe finished first, but hey, at the start of the evening, would you have taken second place?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew I was fast there, to be fair. Obviously, Bob disappearing helped. But yeah, it was good fun. Really close. We were both overdriving, to be fair, making mistakes all over the place, but trying to get in front of each other. But yeah, it was good. It was penalties for me in the end. I got one of those slow down penalties that just, no matter how much I backed off, wouldn't go away, and that cost me 5 seconds. But fun.
Yeah, you were so close all the way through, swapping that first place back and forth between you. How much pressure do you feel when you're in a situation like that, especially as it's for the lead of the race?
It's funny, the pressure's when you're in the front of that, because you never know when they're coming down the inside of you, and you end up leaving too much space sometimes just because you don't want to be collected. Obviously, the first race I got taken out by the back marker from second, and got up in the accident at the start of the second race, and then last time the pits didn't actually change my tyres, so it's been a bad run. So I just wanted to finish that one, to be fair.
Yeah, it was, of course, a really, really strong finish. Now, off the track, of course, we see all the work that goes in on a Thursday with some really, really good racing. But how much time before this race have you got to put in to not only understand the cars, but also get familiar with the track as well?
I guess I've probably put about 6 or 7 hours in, I guess. I enjoy the track. It's been in a lot of games. And yeah, it's just the two setups it was fairly hard to choose between the two of them. So the stable in the end just seemed more consistent for me. So yeah, there's a lot of time spent doing that, and then just practicing really. Yeah, just playing, putting in the lap times, trying to get a rhythm, and yeah, that's dedication, I guess. If you enjoy it, you do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you enjoyed that race tonight. It sounds like you've obviously been a bit unlucky through most of this season, but you've managed to string the last one together. So, will you be back for season 3? Yeah,
definitely. It's
fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice to have something to sort of work towards in the week.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary box for your reaction. Well done once again, and hopefully we'll see you on the track again soon.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
So there we go. That was some reaction from VXR Thrasher. Two newbies to the podium positions this evening, Jamie, and Bogganuts and VXR Thrasher, but fantastic to hear their reaction and get some new voices in the commentary box.
Yeah, and he's just nipped into a private little channel, probably just so that everyone else in the general Discord channel doesn't hear his weeping of joy at his podium position. But the man himself, Odyssey, should we get him in?
Yes, unfortunately, we're going to have to bring him in. You know, he loves to speak and speak and speak, but this evening he's earned the right to be in the commentary box. We were just saying how we've had some new voices in the commentary area, some new podium positions, Bogglnuts, VXR, Thrasher. We have, of course, heard your voice plenty of times, Odyssey, but well done this evening.
Too much.
Well done this evening, third place.
Oh, I know. I was sphincter was starting to contract towards the end there when Roy Klops was getting up there. That was a touch and go. And I think I made a little bit of a dodgy blocking manoeuvre in the penultimate lap, but you know we'll get over that. I think. I'm really pleased. Really pleased. I got some consistent laps down. I just couldn't catch those top two. They were just too fast. But you know I was putting down some decent times. It was relatively good performance.
Yeah, you've got to be super pleased with that. We've been talking about you a lot in the last few races. Putting the hours in, getting really quick, catching up, but you've had a bit of bad luck. You've made a few mistakes in the last couple of races, but you probably should have been up higher. But you finally managed to keep it on the track. You strung it together. We saw that last little move. Nothing wrong with that. Driving incident. I think you actually went a bit wide and you were just coming back on the track, and I think it just caught them a bit by surprise. So your little error actually worked in your favour.
I was in my mirrors. I was in my mirrors more than I was looking out the front. So I was sort of making sure I was sort of taking the line that he would take, but I tried not to get alongside, let him get alongside me, because I figured if I'm in front of him, he should be giving way. But that was my sort of ethos: stay in front of him, not beside him. But yeah, no, absolutely incredible. And at the start, I just had to play it safe. I didn't get a great start, but it was good enough, I think.
Hey, that's all that matters. And hey, at the end of the race, 30 minutes of racing, of course, you've come in third. So, you know, big well done.
First podium,
and something to build on in the future races.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries.
Yeah, clearly ecstatic. Can I just say, do you want to make an early pitch for champion of the next season?
Oh God, no! I'm not going to be anywhere near there. But cause we've had some serious pros come into this Discord since I've started coming up the ranks.
Guys know,
So I'm going to really struggle next season. I'm going to give it a go, and I think the only way you're going to improve is to race with people faster than you anyway. So it'll be a learning experience, and hopefully I can work my way back up into the top 5, top 10 by the end of next season as well. And then just sort of keep getting better.
About. He's just come third, right?
Yeah, it's just undercooking it. He's doing the classic sporting thing of, I won't be up there, but you know, he will. He'll be there.
He's had a mock trophy made.
Exactly.
Already for season 3.
But no, well done. Serious note, well done. Third place.
Yeah,
really well done, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
So that was Odyssey there, with his reaction to his third place finish this evening, Jamie. And that is the top 3 races this evening, and we've managed to have a word with. So well done to them again. Let's head back to the studio. So in the studio, that was step 1 of post-race. That was, of course, our interviews with the racers. Now, last week, Jamie, we did head over to our analysis suite. We had a few issues with it last time, but I'm hoping this time around, it will sort itself out. So, do we want to give it a go this evening?
Yeah, have you had the JVC engineers round, have you?
The technical support
from 1983.
Yeah, the static has gone, I'm assured, from our TV. So we're going to head over to our analysis suite now and look back at some of the key highlights of the race we've just had. So here we go. The static has been fixed, ladies and gentlemen. Big whoops all round. So let's get all the action coming on your screens. It's going to be one by one. Just lots of action coming straight away. So let's have a look at the first replay that we saw this evening, and it was some early attack on the front places of the grid. So we're going to bring that on your screens now, hopefully, and there's not going to be any errors with this software this evening. So hopefully shortly we should be getting that, and here we go. So we're on board with Keno at the moment, Jamie, and he had a really good race early doors but wasn't able to hold on to that final place.
I might struggle with this one because I can only see this on the stream, so I'm about 15 seconds delayed from what you're saying, I'm afraid. So you may have to take the lead on these ones.
Absolutely fine. And it was Odyssey, he's doing really, really well towards the front of the race. Just overcooked it on the corner and wasn't able to hold it on that chicane, and unfortunately cost him a couple of places there. So some really unlucky moments for him there. But we're going to look again towards the battles towards the top end of the grid in this next clip that is coming up hopefully soon. So we're on board with Boggernuts at the moment. He was of course pressing really, really hard with VXR Thrasher, and Jamie all the way through the race, we're seeing some movements between these two here on the screens. Those two really went at it, and we saw some really good racing but also some really clean racing.
Yeah, there was no issues at all between the two of them, was there? And it's so easy to do when you're that close to each other. Boggernuts in particular made a couple of unbelievably good overtakes into the first corner. I think there was 2 maybe during the race. But yeah, this first one here, we just see Thrasher just making that error, just going a bit wide, and Boggernuts getting the run.
Exactly right. So, as we said, those two were going at it all the way, and they will of course feature quite a lot on this stream. We've got a replay at the moment because there was so much action going on, but here we see again VXR Thrasher all over the back of Boggernuts, and it was so good to see those two racing, and as I said, they kept it clean all the way through, which is almost better than the good racing itself, because we don't like to see crashes, we don't like to see people going off the track for smashes and crashes. But yeah, VXR Thrasher there with a really good undertake on the inside there to take first place, and but unfortunately wasn't able to hold it on for the rest of the race.
Yeah, but like he said, he seemed pretty happy with second, with the penalties especially, which I assume were just little niggly ones for corner cutting. He would have had to pull that gap to 2 seconds, didn't he? Which just didn't look like happening between the two of them. So he settled for a very good second place.
Indeed, and hopefully the final clip of the evening could be. We're trying to bring it to your screens. We were trying to see if we could get the crazy Sin incident coming up. But it looks like we're just going to have another quick look at a VXR Thrasher movement before we get the final replay of the screen. But yeah, Jamie, Sin was doing really, really well at one point. And unfortunately, we didn't quite see what happened. We think he might have just gone way too fast into that first corner and just seemingly drove straight off the track, which is really unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he was making the move on Rob 3, wasn't he? He was right up behind him, pushing for what I think may have been 4th at the time, 4th or 5th. But yeah, from our view, it looked like he just outbraked himself, just carried too much speed, couldn't make the corner, and had to bail off into the gravel. So a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him. So it might just cook it into here. We're on board with Roy Klops at the moment, and here we go. It's actually the Mad Knife Sin incident. So Mad Knife just driving slightly in front, but Sin manages to keep on the track. So that was just grabbing it up into 6th place last minute. But Sin just jumping on the chat and saying it was a lock-up, unfortunately. So so there we go. But there was a few clips from the race we've just seen as we head back to the studio. So back in the studio, we've had some reaction from our racers. We've had a look back at some of the biggest moments of the race that we've just seen, and I'm gonna have a look on my Discord now, and it looks like unfortunately Jimmy H Official is still muted. So it doesn't look like, Jamie, we're going to bring any announcements.
Yeah.
I wonder whether it might be worth you perhaps giving him a cheeky little ring off stream to see if we can find out what's going on.
I can do. I imagine it's baby stuff. What I was going to suggest we do, actually, which I think would be really good, is to get 2 of our biggest personalities, 2 of the founders, founding members of the club that are both leaving. This was their last race tonight. Neither of them got to race, unfortunately, They've both been super quick. They've been really helpful to the whole community. Should we get them both on and just have like a little farewell chat with them?
A little farewell chat, that's not a bad idea at all. So we're going to chuck Bob in, we're going to bring in Mr. Salt as well. As you said, Jamie, these two boys have been racing with us on a Thursday night for a long time now. Unfortunately, it wasn't their night this evening with Project Cars 2, the gods of Project Cars 2 not allowing them to race, but for different reasons not able to continue on a Thursday. So, farewell, boys, on a Thursday. But as I understand it, you will be sticking around for Sundays, of course.
Yeah, 1-2 in the championship, though.
Hey, exactly right.
He always a competitor.
I have a 100% win rate in the races that I were able to enter
Look at
this
these
season.
two, eh? Humble to the end.
No, I was better. No, you were better.
We should have brought them in separately, but no, it is, of course, good to hear you boys. Thursday nights, generally, we'll start with you, Bob. How have they been, and how much do you think people can benefit from getting involved in the races we show and bring to you on a Thursday?
Well, I think it shows that we all have a cracking laugh. Thursday's a little bit less serious than, I guess, other online competitions when it comes to racing. So we all have a great banter, all in the same chat. If you want to come and have a good laugh and get some racing and get faster, then you have to look nowhere else. It's a place to be. What would you rather do your Thursday night?
Well, it'd be nice to be at a race.
Oh yeah, maybe that.
Still annoying.
And similar thoughts for you, Mr. Salt?
Yeah, I couldn't put it any better than Bob. Really, it's a great community ultimately, and the social aspect's as strong as the actual racing on the screen. It's a good community. Sad to not be a part of the Thursday ones going forward. Interested to know what the next season's going to be. But as we speak now, I'm actually practicing for next Wednesday's race that I'm involved in. So yeah, but good luck to everyone in season 3.
Curious. So still a little bit curious. We might see you back one day.
Well, I'll still be a part of the Sunday stream.
Yeah.
And the one-off specials, which I think there'll be one next week, right?
Yes.
I will wait in
Friday.
anticipation what that is, and yeah.
You'll love it.
But I'm really looking forward to watching from the sidelines and seeing the new drivers come in and seeing the existing drivers get quicker. I think there's been a lot of drivers that have matured and like the racing's got closer and closer. So yeah, it's going places.
Good.
You'd be better off without us anyway.
No,
Yeah.
never say that.
No, I'm getting a bit of stick from saying it's less serious, but it's.
Oh, we get that all the time.
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah, but it's there's more of a fun atmosphere. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do without like Jamie Rolfe and not Benjamin. If they weren't in the league, then it'd be perfect.
Ideal.
but
Yeah. Well, not Rolfie. obviously.
What can you do?
No, it's been a great experience. I mean, obviously, this community is only a couple of months old, really, but we've already got a really good, strong set of guys involved. And thanks to you two, both of you, for helping to start it off and build it, and give advice and tips for a lot of the newer racers. It's really appreciated.
Well, Salty won the first noob race, and I won the first noob championship. So
You'll go
think
down
that was
in
the first-
you'll go
It's gonna
down
be
in
sad.
history.
Yeah, I think it was the first external member to join the community. I think it was Glassy and Jimmy in the Discord, and then I came in.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, Knock Hill in GT3 cars. What?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I was like, I can't do it. I physically can't get them cars around that track. And I was like, what?
Oh,
So,
well,
yeah,
watch
again,
out
who
for what the
knows what
special's
season
going to be,
three's gonna
Sully.
And just quickly, Mr. Salt, obviously, Bob, we will hear from you in a second as to your reasons on a Thursday, but just talk us through how your commitments have changed. As we mentioned during the stream, you've qualified for a very well-respected championships. Just talk us through a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was they are Apex Online Racing. They're a renowned, serious group of racers, huge community. And I think for me to sort of transition from one league to another and see what other folks are out there and what other communities are out there and just see how it's done, I just felt, for me personally, I wanted to dive into that. And I can only really do 2 leagues a week, like one midweek, one on the weekend. So one had to go, and it was the Thursday night stream, or the Thursday night league, sorry. But yeah, hopefully it'll sort of improve me as a racer. I think it's always good to race against folks that are quicker than you. And by God, there's a lot of quick races in this AOR that I'm in, so hopefully I'll learn a lot as well.
Good. And Bob, we understand your reason for a Thursday slightly different, but again, still sticking with us on a Sunday.
Yeah, so I'll be about Sundays, and the odd Thursday when Mrs. lets me. But yeah, on a Thursday night, I basically go out and ride bikes. So I go and race time trial bikes. I'm one of those idiots in Lycra.
Can someone kick him from the Discord, please?
So it was nice knowing you all. See you all soon.
But no, obviously two different reasons, but hey, we understand it all the same. We've loved having you part of the Thursday racing, and you will, of course, for anyone watching at home, these boys, I'm sure, will still be sticking around the Discord, providing some tips to the newer racers, getting involved in the chat. As they said, it's a great community to be a part of, and the link to that is on our website if you want to come and join the Discord channel. But boys, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon on a Sunday.
It's been emotional, guys.
It's been emotional.
Guys.
Thanks for
Really,
having
really
us. Thanks for the hospitality.
No worries.
Good luck to everyone
This
else.
chair is comfy.
Yeah. Return your keys on your way out, please.
But no, well done, and speak to you soon.
Love you all.
Bye-bye. So there we go, Jamie. A little word with the two boys who are leaving us on Thursday, but they will still be in the Discord. We'll still see them in around on a Sunday, but they've been a big part of starting this journey, which is good to hear from them.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, like I said to them, they've been a great help in us getting this community going. And obviously they're not leaving the community. It's just these Thursday races. But it does feel like a bit of an end of an era with those two such big personalities in the noob world.
Indeed.
So no, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure indeed. But just while we were going through all that post-race reaction, we've had a few new subscribers. Not Benjamin 2010 has resubscribed for 3 months in a row, and Odyssey has resubscribed for 4 months. So, great effort from those guys to get subscribing. Every little helps this channel, whether it's a follow, whether it's a subscription via Amazon Prime, or even if you pay for it yourself, donations, or even just sticking around and watching the channel and getting involved in the chat. However you've got involved with the stream, all and every support is appreciated. Centre Mid says have a good night, or Not Benjamin says Rolfie's to be the new Bob. Oh, well, there we go. There's a prediction for you.
Can I just ask you actually, Ryan? Now that those two sort of regular favourites are dipping out,
yep.
Do you want to give me an early shout for season 3 champion? Now I know that's hard to do. We're a long way out. We haven't even had the announcement of what it is.
Yeah, that's my issue.
In your mind?
That's my issue. I don't even know what cars we're racing for season 3. I don't know the tracks. I don't know the format. So,
does that matter?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'd say tracks and cars are sort of it, really, when it comes to racing. Without that information, it's going to be quite difficult to put my finger on it. But, looking at this evening's race, VXR's done well, Buggernut's done well, Bibby, of course, still in the community, Raz and Snell, Freddie, of course, is a good racer, Odyssey, we've seen take his first position, Trev, he's sticking around for Thursday night racing, he's always up there, of course, second place from season 1, we've got some really fast racers here this evening that we saw, and of course some racers who weren't able to join us going to be getting involved in season 3, so it's going to be really hard to tell. I'd probably say if I was going to put some money on it,
go on.
I'm going to go
great odds this early.
Someone I've not mentioned.
Okay.
I think.
You don't have to answer. It's fine.
I think up there we're going to see Trevor. I think we're going to see Roy Klops up there.
Yes,
and one of the two winners this evening. I think those four.
Because we don't actually know who's signing up yet either, do we?
Yeah,
so.
That's true. But yeah, I'd say you got Trevor Hump, VXR, Bogglenuts, and Roy Klops. I'd say you ones. Of course, depending on who signs up, because we don't know who's going to be involved and get themselves involved.
We might get T-Mac in or something randomly.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, fantastic stream tonight. Fantastic racing, Jamie. Once again, thank you for joining me for some commentary.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. And shall I just say a little hint? I think Jimmy's going to make the announcements tomorrow, but everyone should be very excited about the one-off next week. Let's just say it's very unique.
Very unique indeed. I know what it is. You know what it is. And hey, it's going to be interesting. But look out for that announcement tomorrow. You'll all enjoy that. Get signed up to that early doors. thank you once again for sticking with us for that stream this evening. Just over an hour and 40 minutes you've spent of your evening with us, which always amazes me every single stream that you guys there at home are choosing to sit back and watch us babble on about some racing every evening, but we appreciate it all the same. So once again, the Thursday night stream comes down to a close. We will be bringing you a very exciting multi-class racing league for the very first time on a Sunday. That'll be coming up 8 p.m. this Sunday, of course. T-Max organised leagues and 30 racers, 2 classes. That is sure to be an absolute classic, so please tune in for that. And of course, next week, I'm going to just leave it like that. Next week, I'm not going to say a day, we will be streaming once again with the Noob Gamers. So look out for the announcement tomorrow. But if not, we'll see you on Sunday. Once again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your week. See you soon.